the mastermind behind the infamous scheme, the ingenious architect of financial deception, Charles Ponzi. His masterful manipulation and magnetic charm ensnared countless investors in a whirlwind of deceit and false promises. Unmask the man behind the legendary Ponzi scheme, dissecting the intricate mechanics of his elaborate con and probing the captivating psychology that propelled him to infamy. Charles Ponzi was having trouble in life. The Italian immigrant had lived in the country for 15 years by 1919. He had tried his hand at everything in search of a way to become wealthy, including bookkeeping, sign painting, working as a grocery clerk, dishwasher, and librarian. In August, he received a letter from Europe, which was a stroke of good fortune. A foreign reply coupon, a creative technique to pay for foreign postage in advance, was included in the envelope. Ponzi came to the conclusion that he could utilize these coupons to make a fortune. He only required investors. In the century since his arrest, on August 12, 1920, Charles Ponzi's name has been linked to the scam that led to his eventual conviction and imprisonment. At its essence, a Ponzi scheme involves a phony investment in which early investors are paid with the investments of later investors, making the enterprise appear legitimate. But Ponzi was neither the first nor the last by far to perpetuate this type of fraud. Ponzi schemes often appear complicated on the surface, and Charles Ponzi's fraud was no different. Ponzi told investors that he was able to take advantage of fluctuating currency values to purchase international postal reply coupons. Senders of letters from one nation could attach these postage vouchers to make it easier for the recipients in other countries to respond. Ponzi asserted that he could buy the coupons at a lower price abroad and resell them in the U.S. at face value for a huge profit. Similar to later con artist Bernie Madoff, Ponzi refused to disclose the specifics of his investment strategy, claiming he didn't want to expose that information to rivals. Ponzi assured investors that they would make 50% profit in 45 days and a 100% profit in 90 days. Judging by the spectacular returns received by early investors, it appears that Ponzi kept his word. Investors clamored for him to accept their money as a result of what seemed to be his remarkable achievement. But the maths just wasn't right. Behind the scenes, Ponzi was unable to pay his investors with earnings. Instead, he had to use money from new investors. A string of investigative articles published in the Boston Post helped bring down Ponzi by sparking a federal criminal investigation that resulted in mail fraud charges. Unfortunately, Ponzi's flaw, which caused him to pass fake checks and steal from his employers, also caused him to become avaricious here. With the promise of 50% profits in just a few days, he began to entice investors into his scheme. Investors would deposit money, and Ponzi would deliver the anticipated return. Everyone was pleased with the outcomes, and rumors about this Italian financial whiz began to circulate. In less than 2 years, he had recruiters all over the nation for this risk-free investing plan. Ponzi was making millions and living a lavish lifestyle away from Boston. Ponzi was making $250,000 a day at his height, which allowed him to acquire things like gold-handled canes. Despite Charles Ponzi's renown, the scam that bears his name appears to have been launched by Sarah Howe in Boston in 1879, when she established the Ladies' Deposit to aid in women's financial investments. John Kenneth Galbraith, a renowned economist, once said that the man who is admired for the ingenuity of his larceny is almost always rediscovering some earlier form of fraud. Similar to Ponzi, Howe made incredible profit promises, including that the money of investors would double in just 9 months. Once more, it was reporters who uncovered her deception after conducting an investigation, this time for the Boston Daily Advertiser. In the end, she was prosecuted for her actions, found guilty, and sentenced to 3 years in prison. After being freed, she was able to run the same fraud for 2 years until being caught again. Ponzi schemes have some traits in common. Their investments appear to be profitable because of their high visibility and popularity, which gives them a credible appearance. Additionally, a lot of Ponzi schemers seem to be extremely picky about who they let invest with them. In the cases of Sarah Howe, Charles Ponzi, and Bernie Madoff, this was unquestionably the case. These con artists were begged by investors to take their money. These thieves took advantage of the widespread worry over passing up an excellent opportunity. Irrational exuberance, a concept made prominent by former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, is a typical trait among victims of Ponzi schemes. People who see others making large returns from investments believe that this proves their own investments are safe, even if their conclusions are not supported by any underlying causes. Irrational euphoria is nothing new, and it certainly existed during the Dutch tulip mania of the 1600s, when speculative investments in tulip bulbs caused a severe market crash in 1637. Whatever their variations, victims of all Ponzi schemes commit the same error, investing money in a venture they don't fully understand. Madoff, who stole $50 billion from his victims, even had the audacity to accuse them of being to blame for their predicament in a prison interview, saying that if they had looked into his investing strategy, they would have realized it was impossible to continuously generate the returns he claimed to provide. Since Ponzi's detention a century ago, we have gained invaluable insights into the nature of financial schemes and the potential dangers they pose to unsuspecting individuals and the human desire for quick wealth. We have learned that financial scams and fraudulent schemes continue to evolve and adapt, taking on new forms and exploiting emerging technologies. By learning from the past and remaining diligent, we can strive towards a more secure and informed financial landscape, safeguarding ourselves and future generations from falling prey to deceptive practices. Ponzi's name has become a symbol, cautioning us against the seduction of shortcuts and reminding us of the enduring value of hard work, integrity, and ethical conduct. That being said, may we be the architects of change, the guardians of integrity, and the custodians of a future where lessons of history guide us toward a brighter tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and have a blessed day. Thank you.